Hey everybody, it's Kelly. Hey, I made a really cool wall hanging canvas and I recorded it start to finish, so here it goes. These are little 3x3 stretched canvases that are already gessoed, and what I did was just use drywall tape and I stuck it on there all around the edges. So I want a little bit of texture on there. And I just wrapped it around because I knew I was going to cover it with some beautiful napkins that I had. So I wasn't too finicky about it. Didn't need to be because I knew it would be covered up. I just needed it for the texture underneath my napkin. So, but I've had people ask, how the heck do you do that? And it's just drywall tape. You get it at any, Home Depot, Lowe's, and it's pretty cheap. We just had it left over when we built our house. So in there I'm going through my medias, just trying to figure out what I'm going to use. Am I going to use super gloss? Am I going to use antique? Am I going to use matte? Or am I going to use Liquitex matte medium? And I wound up just going with the regular old matte Mod Podge. So I just slap it on there first. I had to slap it on a little thicker than usual because it fell into all the little waffle grooves of my drywall tape. So, and this first one I kind of struggled with it because once I got the drywall tape wet, because it has its own adhesive on there, it's not the best, but it sticks. Once I got it wet with the Mod Podge, it started lifting up. So, it wasn't laying flat on the edge. So I just had to wait until it dried a little bit and then push it down, and it was fine. So, but that beautiful napkin is one of the many napkins that Kim gave me. I love those. I love using them. It's just instant beautiful. And I love how it just, whatever you put underneath it, it will just lay on top of that and show all that texture right through, so it was perfect for what I wanted. So there I was just kind of struggling with it, trying to keep it down, but realized I just needed to move on and wait until it dried so I can handle it more, because if you try to handle that napkin while it's wet with Mod Podge, it's just going to fall apart and stick to you, and then you mess it up. So I had to find patience, not my strong point when crafting. With my kids, I tend to have more patience. So, that napkin is so pretty. I was cleaning off my brush right there. You gotta clean it off when you're using that because it just gets goopy. Brushes are expensive. You gotta take care of them and wash them as you go. For you newbies. So there it goes. It goes on really easy. This project didn't take as long as I thought it would. I mean, in all the preparing, it did take quite a bit longer, just trying to figure out what I was gonna do. I actually planned this one out. It's a bloody miracle. Never planned anything out. This one I did. I planned out and it actually went well. But I had to use ribbon instead of chain because I didn't have enough gold chain like I wanted to use to put these canvases together. So, but I think it still turned out nice. So every once in a while I get out of screen, and it's because the angle of my camera, I can't angle it directly over me, otherwise my videos get even smaller than they are. It's this little bloggy video recorder that I have. I thought it was great when I first got it, and I just hate it. But a new video camera is not in the budget, so we're going to make do with what we got. So there's the last one. Just wrapping it around. So Mod Podge under and then Mod Podge on top. And then you can either let it dry or use your heat tool to let it dry. So These are the Butterbee Scraps filigree pieces that I got a while ago from Monique. And that is pitch black alcohol ink. And I first tried it on the sponge and it just wasn't enough. I really needed to saturate that whole piece. So I wound up just adding it directly on there and then just squishing it around on my latex gloves and rubbing it around with the felt tab as well. Excuse me, guys. They needed to be black because they were just disappearing in the background, so I love my alcohol inks and my metal pieces. So there, I just want to put it in my hands and just rubbing it around. I'm still brushing it on with the felt pad, but it's better to just rub it on there and squish it around with some latex gloves. And then I was just showing this 91% alcohol. That cleans up the alcohol just super, super fast. If you get anything less than 91% and you're like, why isn't this working? It's not going to work. So that's the stream color because I've got a lot of that really pretty turquoise, marine blue color, and I think it's more turquoise, but I wanted to do the butterfly in the blue color instead of black. And then what I did with the black felt tip was I used the black on the outsides of the butterfly, just like you would you know, with your archival ink when you ink the edges of something. That's what I did, but I just used the black alcohol ink because I was on metal. So I'm just showing you my antique clock pieces that I have. Those are all the way from Placerville. I got those a long time ago. I wound up not using both of those. I used one of them. What was I doing there? Oh, I was just going through all my clock pieces, figuring out which ones I was going to use. I had some different ones to choose from, so. And I started off with like a charm that kind of was like a brooch. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. But and I wound up not using that for the butterfly. I wound up just doing something different, and you'll see. Hopefully I can talk through it, but getting high with the E6000 glue. That stuff smells really strong, but then the gold rub and buff, between the gold rub and buff and the E6000, I must have burned some brain cells tonight because they smell so strong. But what I'm fussing with there with my tweezers is a really, really tiny blue rhinestone, because there's a hole in that clock face and I need to fill it. And it's a teeny tiny little rhinestone, and it fits right in the hole. So what I did was just put some scotch tape over it. I put it in place, put scotch tape over it to hold it in place, and then E6000 on the back of it to glue it on. And then I had to let that dry. You can't glue over it because it's so teeny tiny. So I could just place it on there, stick it down with the scotch tape, and then put the E6000 on there. And then set it aside to let that dry. And then that little metal piece is one of the hairpins that I got for 99 cents from Michael's a while ago, and I just take the hairpin off of it, and you could put a cameo in the middle of those. It's like a teeny tiny cameo type thing, but I just love them. You make your own little embellishment with them. I just love them. You just add a little oval rhinestone in there, and it's beautiful. Pearl in there would be fantastic. I don't have any cameos. So I had like that little charm cameo that I was going to use on the butterfly, but there was no way to glue it to it. That was my problem. That was why I couldn't use it. It would have looked really, really nice on there. But I love the way, the alternative too. But so I'm just rubbing some gold rub and buff all around my filigree pieces. I love the look of the gold rub and buff. Oh, and I added a little bit to that clock face on the top there. Really old clock. So, and then I decided to use my archival ink and accentuate the outsides of each canvas. I'm glad I like that. I don't know, I always finish up the edges like that. I just think it makes it look so nice. And it really accentuated the texture in the background too. Really brought it out. I wasn't shy with it either, you can see. Okay, where am I now? Oh, now I'm just gluing on my little rhinestone on my thingamajigger. And then figuring out how the heck I'm going to get it glued onto my butterfly, because I want the wings to bend up a little bit like they do, but if you do that, you can't get the centerpiece in there, and then you can't get it to stick down in the glue, because remember, the inside of the canvas kind of gives a little bit, but it worked out. I just kept it straight and then bent it beyond the embellishment there. And it worked out just fine. The lid to my E6000 is cracked, so it leaks everywhere, and then it dries out. Stinks. And then I decided to use the rest of that gold rub and buff and just rub it real lightly over the corners that I inked. And I put it down on my craft sheet because when I just take it from the tube, I get the oily part and then less of the gold. So I just squeeze some down on there. You just need a tiny bit. This stuff goes so far. I've got the same tube for like 2 years now, for crying out loud. So I hardly wasted any. But so there I am. I'm bending it beyond the embellishment, like I showed you. And then my oh, there it goes, gluing it down, E6000. That's the best way to glue down any kind of metal. And my glue was just oozing all over the place. It's so funny. Oh well. I had to use quite a bit of glue because it was, you know, with all the texture on there with the filigree, you know how those kind of bend up with each leaf. I had to fill in my gaps with glue on that one. What you don't see in the bottom one is I actually used a, once I glued down that one right there, that I'm doing right there, I actually had to put a pop dot in the middle of that flower so that that clock face would go on there. So, and it wasn't quite ready then, and I did that off camera. So, and then what I did not have the gold chain that I wanted. I didn't have enough of it. So I just used some real pretty satin gold ribbon, and I think that looks nice. I held it up against the wall, and it looks really nice against the wall. And I just cut my ribbon to size and then burn the ends so they wouldn't fray. And then they're 3 by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. You get 1.5 inches in between each one, and you got 12 inches. So I was just sizing it up just to see, you know, what looked best, you know, how close it needed to be to each other, and 1.5 inches between each one was great. But to keep it completely straight, I used my Score-Pal, my cutting mat, my Score-Pal cutting mat, and made sure my ribbon was straight on the line. It's a 1-inch ribbon. Made sure it was straight against the line, and then my 3 by 3 canvases would fit perfectly in there. lined it up. 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, 12 inches. There we go. And then I was gonna glue the ribbon, and I was like, well, that won't make any sense, I can't do it. And then my new glue gun, I'm having a hard time with it. The glue just doesn't come out fast enough, but it does have that really fine tip. It's great for the real fine things. I don't know, I like it better than the other one. It doesn't leak as bad, but I think all glue guns get frustrating. So, and that's what I did. And then on this one I had to glue both ends. I actually wound up pushing the glue stick through with my mouth on that one, I think. I was getting frustrated. Line it up perfectly on my mat, my grid. And then that one, darn it, the glue kind of came out a little bit at the, you could probably see it right there, darn it. And then I tried to pull it off and I couldn't get it off once I caught it. I hate that the glue went on the ribbon, but I couldn't fix it after the fact, so. And it's, you barely notice it, but still, I notice it. And there I am trying to pull it off and tuck it under or something. There's no fixing it, it's done. So, just working through it. Move on, Kelly. Okay, and then I just had to glue gun in the extra little small amount of ribbon that was hanging loose at the end. Oh, excuse me, I just hiccuped. Sorry, tired. So the small little bit of ribbon, I just hot glued it in under the frame of the canvas. On the top one and the bottom one. And burn the heck out of my finger. Ouch. And there it is. Getting all the glue strings off. And there it is. All done. And if you made it through this 18-minute tutorial with me, you will know this is going all the way to the Netherlands to my sweet friend Renye as a thank you for all the wonderful, wonderful beads and charms and everything that she sent me. So thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.